Inside Sequoia Ray is with Swartz in our studio to talk about the honor and his thoughts about VCU.
Hello, I'm here with the winner of the VCU Ultimate Ram Contest, John J. Swartz. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, first things first, congratulations on your new title. How does it feel to be the Ultimate Ram?
It's really an honor. It's really pretty interesting. Years ago, the athletic director, Louis Mills, called me the first Ram for things I was doing for the university back then, about 35 years ago. So I guess this validates that to some extent.
Okay. So what do you think this title really means?
Well, I think it's a culmination of a lot of years of interest and involvement with the university, not just with athletics, but with many other areas of the university. So I'm really humbled that enough people recognize that. And when you mix the old with the new, with Facebook and those people who weren't Facebook inclined who decided they wanted to do it, it's really pretty interesting.
All right. So for over 30 years, they called you the first Ram. How did you get that name? When
I returned to Richmond after a tour of duty in the service and graduate school and whatnot, I went to then athletic director Chuck Noe and said, "What do you need done? What is it that you don't have that you want?" He says, "We are not on the radio." And I went about finding out how to put us on the radio. And I didn't necessarily have any experience in that industry because my degree was in finance and accounting. So I approached a number of radio stations till I found one who would be willing to carry the VCU games. I came back to the athletic department. I sat down with Chuck Noe and sat down with then President Dr. Brandt and said, "How do we do this? Are y'all ready to do this?" We built a budget. I went out and got some friends of mine to sponsor it. University paid for some of it. The next thing we needed was somebody to go on the air and be the voice of VCU. And Chuck said, "Well, you're the first Ram. Go right ahead and do it." So we got Bob Gilmore at the time, a former Cincinnati Red broadcaster who was in town. And Bob and I went on the air in 1974. First voice, first game. Wow. The rest is history.
So let's take it back just a little bit. Back in 1965, when you were undergrad, how do you think the school spirit was back then?
VCU was a small, growing school. It had separated from William & Mary a number of years prior to that, so it was really developing its own identity. But it was very much a commuter school. It was very much many of the students worked and went to school, not unlike they are today, but they really had families. They were a little bit older by age as much as anything. There really wasn't a feeling of campus because our whole campus was the sidewalk and mailbox and little alley there in front of the Hibbs building, the admin building. And then Schaefer Court came a little bit later when they tore a building down. So that was a heavily trafficked area with Schaefer Street. And it wasn't until my junior year when I was involved in student government that we approached the city with the university and try to get Schaefer Street closed. That developed the first real campus between Park and Franklin. And people have been joking with me, they ought to call it Schwartz Court, but I don't know about that. But it's Schaefer Court, and that was our first campus. And now you had a little reason to assemble. And the assembly in our senior year allowed us to begin to develop some spirit, but it certainly was nothing compared to what it is now.
What it is now. Okay. Well, there seems to be a little bit misconception about the title of the Ultimate Ram. There's the Ultimate Ram fan, or is it the Ultimate Ram? What is your take on it?
Well, I think there are a lot of people who associate it strictly with men's basketball, and of course that's been the bellwether of things for VCU in a lot of ways. I mean, I was in Buffalo when Eric hit the dagger against Duke. That sort of gave us a global appearance, and people don't remember that was the only game on the entire country. The last 7 or 8 minutes of that game was the only game on. All the games had finished that day, so everybody that was watching NCAA Final Four basketball that day was watching VCU. Okay. So that gave us a little different picture. But at the same time, to me, the Ultimate Ram is something much, much greater than one single sport.
There you have it, VCU's first Ultimate Ram, John J. Swartz. Thank you for being here.